I'm from Estonia, but ethnically I'm Russian. So I grew up in a Russian family in Estonia, and I traveled a lot. So intercultural communication is familiar to me. Okay.
I'm Kenneth Kadzamwingong, an international student from Cameroon, studying at Tallinn University, liberal arts and social science, bachelor degree first year.
My name is Enjia Xu, and I'm from Taiwan, and also I'm an exchange student here, and I will stay in Tallinn University for 1 year.
Yeah, I'm Rando. I study public relations second year in BFM. I have lived overseas for a while in New Zealand and also in the UK, so I kind of have a sense of different cultures meeting and clashing and the communication between them. Well, for me, it's mostly talking to other people who are outside my culture zone, but it's easy for me because as I come from different backgrounds, I've lived in New Zealand and in the UK, as I mentioned. For me, it's kind of easier to meet other people who are not in the same culture zone that I am. So as I'm speaking to you, I can understand that this is something different than it is for me usually. So yeah, for me, it's mostly talking to people who are outside of my culture zone.
Okay, so yeah, actually, Taiwan is a kind of really small island, and so like we have to accept different cultural background people. Like they are from north part of Asia, maybe from China, from South Asia. So it's like multicultural is like kind of different. Is in our daily life. So I think it's really important that you can learn how to communicate or interact with different kind of people, then you can make your country like more stable and peaceful. That because everyone can know how to understand others. So that's what I think that intercultural communication is important.
Yeah, and talk about intercultural communication. To me, I think it's just communication across different cultures and social groups, or how cultures affect communication. For instance, an organization or social context made up of individuals from different social, religious, ethnic, or educational background working together, there's obviously the probability that there will obviously be a natural problem that will appear. So in this light, it seems to understand how people from different countries and culture act, communicate, and perceive the world around them.
It's actually the first word that comes to mind is actually tolerance, I'd say, because we all talk about how all these different cultures are different, and everyone has their own way of behaving, understanding different behavior of everyone, different people. But I consider myself very accepting of different cultures, and I learned a lot about them because I traveled a lot, I worked in different countries. But still sometimes I feel that it's just so different that I have to stop myself and focus on it, that I have to be respectful and actually tolerant about some things. And it's really easy to stereotype, even though I know you're not supposed to do it, but this still automatically happens, and I think it's kind of close, almost the same for everyone.
It's like actually we in Taiwan we start to learn English from a very small when we are really young, and so like a cultural mix is like when we are really small we already accept lots of like Western countries culture or something like that, and so like in my daily life is like when I'm in university, I also know I go out for the volunteer or something for going abroad, and we already know that you, like for example, you use English or something like that in your everyday life, and when you are here there with the different background people, and you will know that you have to respect people that come from different background, and also like, I mean, the most important thing is to respect and try your best to understand.
Yeah, in this life, I would like to talk about the issue of the accent of people from different cultures, especially the Asian countries, the Asians, for instance. Talking with the Asians is kind of difficult for me because their accent is actually quite different from the one I know and from the ones I'm being used to, and it becomes kind of difficult. It becomes challenging for me to hear what they say because the way they used to construct the sentences, the way they kind of talk, it makes me to like, if I don't pay attention, I won't be able to get what they're saying, and for me, it's kind of not proper for me to always ask somebody to repeat one thing over and over because of the accent. And also, it once also happened to me because I think I've once noticed that I talk with one Estonian. Anytime I want to talk with her, it's like she will always ask me to repeat, and I see her being so keen whenever I'm talking. So I had to walk up to her, ask her, what's the problem? Is it like I don't know how to express myself very well, or what's the problem that anytime I'm talking to her and she will always ask me to repeat, or I see her kind of being keen to listen to what I'm talking. And she said the problem is the accent as well, because she has come across so many people and they have different accents, and if she doesn't pay attention, she won't get what they're trying to say. So, and that is the same thing, the same problem I face with Asians. And now I need to learn their culture in relation to their accent. For instance, especially now that I'm an international level, you cannot like kind of communicate. I cannot kind of like interact with them very well if I don't try to inculcate their culture. I don't try to learn their culture, how they speak, and then get used to it. Yeah.
Well, it's also when people, I think, go on trips and so on, you experience different cultures, and that in that sense is also this kind of interdisciplinary communication. In that sense, you can feel how different cultures act and what are their aesthetics in some kind and in some way, and also how people behave. Not only how they speak, but how they behave. How open are they towards strangers and even their friends and so on. For Estonians, it's mostly being quite closed and not talking to strangers. I'm an exception, so that's good. But yeah.
In the daily life, well, my family is very different cultures. My husband is from Canada. My parents are from Russia. I'm from Estonia. I mean, they live in Estonia too, but I think I had different upbringing, so I've acquired different understanding of things. And I have to communicate to my in-law family as well. They have their own traditions, and we all have to try to combine it together and stay happy and friendly.
Actually, intercultural communication, especially for my classes that I've attended and the exercises that you especially and Melissa, first time you can actually lead to social change. Because we will talk about, let's say, in a global environment, that the ability to communicate effectively can be a challenge. Even when both parties speak the same language, there can still be misunderstanding due to the ethnic and cultural differences. So in that light, I think intercultural communication would influence social change in areas of, let's say, we talk about in business. Let's say like a businessman, you need to explain your goods, you need to explain the community you're selling, how it functions, how it works, to different people. We will come across different people from different background, from different culture, and if you are not able to associate with them in relation to their cultural background from where they come from, it will be difficult for you to succeed in the business. And also in the life for companies that are involved in global business, where the relationship of managers and subordinates in multinational firms is important. And we also have the aspect of where, like for me, for instance, to associate and cooperate with other students here, sharing the same, let's say, sharing the same interest, education, doing the same field in my same courses that I do, for me to like kind of cooperate and actually learn and actually like interact and study with them together. I need to be able to get involved in their culture, able to learn their culture, where they come from, how they behave, what they believe, because I might be stepping on somebody's toes. Because from my culture, I think it is normal, but in the other person's culture, it is not normal. So I think this, with all this interaction, actually bring a social change. I can also say, for example, like for me, if I find myself in an environment and I see somebody who is like kind of behave like me, come just like things like he's from my culture, I just consider, oh, this is my sister, this is my brother, and that is already a social change. Like for instance, I would say like in Estonia, if I can like know their culture, I know what they value, and actually do that, I think they will take me like part of them. And that is also already like bringing a social change in the society. And let me just say let me still mention the you and Melissa, for example, the first time you people started the game after the classes. I think all the games that you have organized after the intercultural communication classes, that's actually helped me one way or the other. I've actually created some friends during that time. I've actually talked with some students that if not for that, I don't think I would ever talk and learn some kind of things. To an extent that even an Estonian that I was told that Estonians, they don't like talk to people. I've talked with Estonians during the games class, and it's kind of interesting. And I think if it continues in that way, the cultural communication actually brings social change.
Yes, of course it can, because like these few days that more and more South Asian people are coming to my country as a worker, or like to help like economy of my country. And but people like they have different religions, and people don't understand that, and maybe we don't have enough kind of food to provide them. Like some people don't eat pork, or some people like eat vegetarian or something like that. And so government is also like promoting a lot for people to understand that not all the like most of them are Muslim or something, that they have their own culture. We have to understand them, and I think it's that people start to accept, and they will not see like they're from other country, or they're actually helping us. And so I think that's the really big change, and we have more and more like restaurant for them and more space for them to praise or something. And so I think it's actually a really good thing. So for intercultural communication.
Yes, I think it will, and it is, because right now the world is kind of getting more multicultural. Also, Estonia in that sense, we're having more people come study here from outside of our own country, which makes it more multicultural. We meet new people, and I think that if different people meet, then it just gives us this kind of like extra sense of something else that's different from us. And Estonians might be really close, but if we really like something, we will take it as our own in some way, like change it up maybe, but we'll take it in. So in that sense, yeah, the world is beginning to look more multicultural. It's not only that in Scandinavia people live who are Scandinavians. It's also people who are from Africa, people who are from Japan, people who are from South America, and so on. So yeah, I think that mixing different cultures is the way for the future in that sense, and it's definitely changing our society.
Well, in going going back to tolerance again, I think it will really be necessary in current times of globalization. People really need to focus. And I think the main thing is cultural differences will be blurred a little bit more. I think the integration of cultures is definitely going to be happening more and more. It's happening now too. If you look at, let's say, music industry, and at some, I don't know, several years back, I would only see rap music performed by the black people, right, the African Americans. That was popular to them. Now I see Russian singers, have dreads, have all those braids, which is absolutely different from Russian culture. And they jump around and they sing rap. So that's the integration of somebody else's culture into Russian culture. And those examples happening all over the world. If you look at it, people acquire different people's culture, and I think it's just going to become something unified.
I think that's
And
good.
something that people can share with each other. Like, I lived in Canada for a very long time, and it's very multicultural. So we had seminars just to learn about other cultures, and people from a class would come forward and make a presentation about their cultures and how they do it, how they see and view traditions in Canada. And like, just to take Christmas, because it's a Christmas season, everyone's very tolerant and celebrating Christian season because it's this time, and then they proceed to Jewish people would have their holidays, and they accept it in Canada. Like, they were allowed not to come to school, for example, and their religion and culture was respected in that way. I thought it was pretty cool.